last year around May, Disney announced Disney Infinity 3.0. This was super cool. It was going to have Star Wars. But now, with the pattern going on currently, they're going to have to release, or at least announce, Disney Infinity 4.0 soon, as this video was made in January 2016. So, I decided to make a top 10 list of my favorite ideas of possible characters. Yeah, characters only figures, and possibly playsets for Disney Infinity 4.0 and beyond. For now, all I can say is let's just dive into it, see what kind of ideas there are. But for those viewing this past the announcement, you can judge and see how much I got correct. I myself am not a fan of the Muppets. However, when analyzing all of the possible ideas, the Muppets really came out at a 10. They're a very original IP that Disney owns, and honestly, it's very recognizable, and that is one of the main factors you would want to consider in including a character into this. Because what adult is going to choose some random thing they've never heard of before? But they're definitely willing to see Kermit on the shelves and, hey, I know this character. I'll buy this character for my kid. And honestly, it's just a good marketing decision, and they're pretty cool, though I myself am not a fan. You will see a great image done by somebody of Beauty and the Beast in the background. My number 9 is pretty much classic Disney. Now, of course, a lot of it would maybe include Snow White and Cinderella and all of those, and of course Beauty and the Beast. And honestly, it's like with the Muppets, very recognizable. However, I believe that this might have a little more potential because you could maybe have one classic Disney playset, and from there you could have like Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, all of that. And you could put it all into one. And plus, from there, you have a lot more Disney princesses. And from there, of course, well, that's just, like I said with the last others, it's a good marketing decision. Now, I promise beyond here, it's going to be very little just like marketing decisions, I promise. It's just, the last couple, it just went down to what was the best when it came to selling things for Disney. At first, I didn't even want to consider Star vs. the Force of Evil for this list, but honestly, it is owned by Disney. It is a show on Disney XD, and honestly, it's a decent show. But more importantly, it just fits well with the Disney Infinity atmosphere. A lot of craziness and spawning random objects that do all sorts of crazy things. I think it would fit well with the atmosphere. And like I said before, it's a pretty good show. And if you look in the background picture, that looks a lot like a Disney Infinity scenario, honestly. Of course, they wouldn't even need to have a playset or anything. Honestly, I just like the show. I think it would fit well. It went above the Muppets and like Beauty and the Beast and stuff because honestly, it's a little more modern, and I guess I have my own personal bias because I myself like the show, mostly for the ship. Starco for the win. Anyways, that's pretty much all for Star vs. the Force of Evil, which is number 8 on this list. Did you know that Disney owns My Neighbor Totoro? Like, I took, like, an anime club thing or whatever, like a year or two ago, and it turned out My Neighbor Totoro is owned by Disney. And that's super classic fan art thing with large character holding umbrella next to smaller character. Classic. I think a Totoro figure would be awesome. It wouldn't be as recognizable, of course, but anybody who does know the character will be like, oh my god, it's Totoro, I need to have that. Plus, it's a decent character, and of course you could have, like, different trees and stuff from the forest and things like that. It has a couple of things. I think Totoro is pretty much like the definition of a toy box only character, like one that doesn't have a playset. Because if you look at him, he has a couple of items from his movie that could become cool things to have in the background, as well as being just a generally cool character to have. A lot of people are upset with the fact that Percy Jackson is owned by Disney, because a lot of people are upset with the movie, but for me, I'd say he makes a great number 6 to my list. Because a lot of people are upset with the movie because it didn't follow the books well enough, I guess, and I lost the book after a couple of chapters, so honestly, I have no right to complain or judge. But pretty much, I think he'd be a good character. If you don't like the idea that he's owned by Disney, at least you can make the best out of it and have him in Disney Infinity. Just imagine wielding a trident and wielding epic water, and as well as a couple of cool items to have. I honestly think he'd be a great character to have in Disney Infinity. That's right. Star Wars wasn't the only thing that Disney got when it bought LucasArts or Lucasfilms, whatever you decide to call it. Indiana Jones is a great 5 to this list. Honestly, because he's a great character, and also comes along with all sorts of things to place in the toy box. Maybe even a play. What do they call them? They're not like playhouses, but you get the idea. The play sets, where you get to play a storyline and unlock different items. And with the amount of different things you can place in the toy box that could come from Indiana Jones, I think this is an amazing addition. And I'm very surprised that this hasn't happened already. I know what you're thinking. What the heck is a Transformer doing in the background? But my suggestion for number 4 is pretty much that Disney buys Hasbro. Disney and Hasbro have been pretty much allies in the business world for quite a while. And honestly, I think it's a great idea. And there are rumors going around in 2012 that they're going to buy it. I honestly think it's a great idea. Not only would it, well, pretty much the general idea that I'm trying to explain here is that they buy something new and make that like the image of the new Disney Infinity 4.0. Like, ooh, we bought Hasbro. Check out all the cool stuff we have now. And it's not just Transformers like the ones that are in the background. Of course, that also comes with My Little Pony and all sorts of different things. And honestly, I read online recently that I guess Hasbro was trying to buy DreamWorks. And honestly, if you can buy DreamWorks, then you must be successful enough to be at least looked upon by Disney as a possible thing to buy. And I think that it's a great idea. Plus, if Hasbro did do that and Disney bought Hasbro, then they would also have DreamWorks. And imagine all the things that could come with that. I honestly think that buying Hasbro would be a great thing to do for Disney Infinity 4.0. Disney's Kingdom Hearts. This is my number 3. Make it happen, Disney. Check out the screenshot off my phone. That's right. Disney had the opportunity to buy Nintendo in late 2014. Once again, this is another thing where it's like, hey, you can make something cool happen if you buy this. Now, I'm a super, intense Nintendo supporter, but I do like Disney, and I think they could do well with Nintendo if they wanted to. And honestly, they haven't gone wrong with Marvel. They created an epic cinematic universe that you wouldn't have even dreamt of back beforehand. I honestly think that this would be an awesome addition to Disney Infinity 4.0. Honorable mention. This is not my number 1. This is my only honorable mention that I'm going to put on here. And honestly, pretty much Disney owns ABC Family, or I guess it wants to be called Forex or something right now. I'm going to call it ABC Family. Pretty much they could do some human characters from that. Though most of their good shows they always cancel. Kyle XY. And anyways, they could do some good things from this, I guess. Maybe they could do some Once Upon a Time characters. It's called Once Upon a Time? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Once Upon a Time. And yeah, any that they don't care about to make for a actual Disney princess, they could do the Once Upon a Time version if they wanted to. But honestly, I'd prefer if they made the Disney princess version. So, that's why it's an honorable mention. If you know me at all whatsoever, you probably saw this coming. Yeah, Gravity Falls needs to happen. Come on, people. It's amazing. epic storyline. And not only that, you could be like, oh, but it's ending soon. However, according to the patterns and hints given by Alex, I believe it's going to be given the Phineas and Ferb treatment. How do I know? And what is the Phineas and Ferb treatment? Glad you asked. Pretty much, the Phineas and Ferb treatment is that the show is over, but like maybe once a year they'll release one Phineas and Ferb thing, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen to Gravity Falls. Why isn't Gravity Falls ending? Well, Alex hinted that this is not the last we're going to see of Gravity Falls, and what else is going to happen? Honestly, in my opinion, I believe we are going to get a very Grunkle Christmas, and, of course, maybe, if we're good, a crossover with Steven Universe. But that's pretty much irrelevant right now. I have evidence for that I'll put in a later video. Trust me, I promise I will. But pretty much, having the Mystery Shack in the toy box is not enough. You could have a play set, I believe it's called, with Gravity Falls. Like, it could be sort of like the Incredibles one, where you have the city and you have to do stuff, and it could take place during Wordmageddon, and you have to do all this stuff to damage Bill and stuff. And it could be awesome. You could place Bill, Dipper, and Mabel, and do all sorts of crazy stuff, plus a Wordmageddon background. Make it happen, Disney. Make it happen. If, from what you got from this video, you like my personality, and generally just like how I talk and stuff, then you might want to subscribe. And also, if you like this video, you should press this thing called the like button. You know what it does? It does good things. That's what it does. And wondering what the picture in the background is? You'll understand if you watch Steven Universe, which you should. Goodbye.